You'd be surprised at the people, because they have a belief system that holds on to being ordinary, they will not take the lead. I am afraid that I will become a target, and you will. I want to let me say that to you too, in the name of honesty. If you take the lead, you will become a target. But just because they're shooting at you doesn't mean they shot you. In fact, some of you should rejoice in the fact that somebody has emptied out their quiver of arrows shooting at you, and you are still here. And that person that wouldn't go out and do what you did for fear of being shot at didn't recognize that because of your faith and your convictions, you have been able to pass through the arrows that have been shot at you and survive. But you have to have courage to do that, and you have to get rid of your fear to do that, and you have to be able to see arrows zinging by you, people hating on you, controversy rising all around you, and you have to say like Job, though he slay me, yet shall I trust him. The third belief system that may be hindering you is social change. I fear rejection, loneliness, or claims that I have changed or sold out. I don't want to be rejected by my sociological environment. And this is very, very important to minorities. Because when you are a minority, there is a clannish survival mechanism that fits in. No matter what kind of minority you are in any situation. I was in Mexico a while ago, and a gentleman came up and said to me, if you're gonna rent a boat, because I like to rent boats and go fishing, he said, if you're gonna rent a boat for me, because I'm an American. Because in that setting, he was a minority. And the idea is we have to stick together. Watch out for we's. Because people will control you with a we. And you will miss your opportunity at what may be the best deal for you, trying to be loyal to the we. It's what we teach our children about peer pressure. And all of a sudden, in order to fit in your sociological environment, you passed up the promotion. You wouldn't buy the house that was the best deal for you because it moved you out of the neighborhood that you were defined by. You passed up the position that you wanted to take because now your girlfriends won't like you because you're now managing the girls you used to run with. And so in order to fit in, you're going to stay in the seat that I started this sermon from rather than to take your rightful place behind this rostrum because you want the people you're sitting beside to like you and accept you. Oh. And you don't want to be a sellout. Oh my. The next one I want to deal with is fleeting. My success will be temporal and I will not be able to sustain it. You have performance anxiety. You're afraid that it won't last. It won't last. Good things won't last. You don't want to go out on a date because if you go out on the date and you start a relationship and things start going well, it's not going to last. I did not going to last. It didn't last before. It didn't last with Fred. It didn't last with Jim. It's not going to last. I'm not going to take this position because if I get in this position, I may lose this job. It's not going to last. I'm not going to go back to school because I may not complete it. It will not last. And you have a fear that the blessing is fleeting. So you won't get back out on the boat and throw your nets again because you have already programmed yourself that nothing else exciting is ever going to happen to you again. And as I go through these belief systems, I want you to look for the ones that sound like you. Have I hit anything yet? The next one I want to talk about is perfectionism. I will have to behave as if I am perfect and I am not. I believe this was part of Peter's problem. When he saw the power of God to bless him, he recognized the power of God to destroy him. Think about that. When he saw the power of God to bless him, he recognized the power of God to destroy him. He said, get out of here, Jesus. Depart from me. Why? Because I know I've got imperfections. And I don't want to get in the light because somebody might see them. And so I'm going to be secretly talented. I'm going to sing at home. I'm going to leave the church and say what they ought to do and what somebody ought to say and what somebody ought to write a book about that and somebody ought to get up and say something. And I'm going to drive home locking my treasure up inside of me because I am imprisoned by my imperfections, and I don't want anybody to know that I'm not perfect. Even though I'm good at this, I'm weak at that. Peter said, look, you've made me a great fisherman, but I'm a sinful man. Go. I reject the opportunity to be blessed because I know something about myself that I don't want anybody else to know, and I'm more concerned about the security of my reputation than I am my progress. Perfectionism. I'm not going to get involved with him because if I get involved with him and he gets too close to me, he will see that I'm not perfect. Being able to balance your imperfection. And they may not even be moral imperfections. In the case of dating, it may be physical imperfection. Oh no, he couldn't physically want me, I'm too fat. Where you don't give the person the chance to accept you because you've already criticized yourself over it. You'd be surprised at the people who talk other people out of loving them. Convince them that you're not attractive. Oh, no, Lord, no, look at me, no, God, oh, God, no. You know exactly what to do to move up into the next position, but you don't want the light on you because you have issues. Newsflash, everybody has issues. Pastor Robinson just shouted out junk in the trunk. Everybody has junk in the trunk. And if you're waiting to clean out all the junk before you put your pedal to the metal and drive and go forward, you may be stuck 20 years cleaning out the trunk. I'm gonna go on to this next one, besiegement. I will be besieged by others wanting things from me. My loved ones will feel entitled to a measure of my success. I don't want all the controversy that goes along with this. I don't want this. I don't want this. Don't give me the power of attorney, mama, because I don't want to deal with my sisters and brothers. Don't give me the position because if I become manager of the department, my friends won't invite me out anymore. And you start doing crazy things trying to prove to them that you are still who you were, because people will put pressure on you to stay low. And all of a sudden you're afraid that they're going to demand things from you. And it is true, as you go up, there are a great deal of people who associate with you because of where you are and not who you are. And people start fighting over your level of success. If you don't believe it, talk to any NFL athlete, anybody who goes pro in sports. All of a sudden people change when they think you got a little something. And all of a sudden it was just fine. They normally would just be talking about everything in life, but people have a way of having these little conversations. You know, child, I'm going through. I'm just going through. My rent's like 3 months behind, man. I know it ain't no big deal for somebody got all the kind of money you got, because you loaded, you don't have to deal with no kind of stuff like this. But you know, $2,400 would set me straight. That's probably change to you, but man, I'm telling you, the pressure is so great. When I was in South Africa years ago, and the first generation of blacks in South Africa who were oppressed in the apartheid were now freed and becoming successful, that some of the article said some of them were ready to leave South Africa because so many people were pulling and clawing at them. Because when you first start going up amongst people who haven't gone up, they have a tendency to be like crabs in a barrel, and they start trying to pull you down because they say, you know, you're the first one in our family to get a degree. You ought to take care of this and you ought to take care of that. And after a while, they pull you down so low. Some of you know what I'm talking about. They pull you down so low and some people, for fear of having that pressure on them, forfeit the success and stay down rather than to go forward. I'm preaching. The inability to manage these fears creates self-sabotaging, self-handicapping situations where you're incapable